Okay, is everyone here? Okay, can I start now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'm not quite familiar actually with this Google Meet. So if you will help me to for the attendance, it's only for the attendance. On the here on the what is called chat with everyone. Please write down your name, okay? So it's easy for me to put your name into the attendance list in the quiz. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you. Yes. Okay, can you see the syllabus?
So, sir.
Yes, sir. I can.
You can?
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
sir.
good. Okay, the name of the class is Public Finance. Okay. We have 3 credits. Okay, just have to explain this a little
Yes,
bit.
sir. I got it.
Cool. By the way, have you checked the eCampus? Because I put just a little, not too much stuff in there. Have you accessed the eCampus?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so some of you already get probably presentation. That
Yeah.
presentation, okay. Okay, that's fine. I have another presentation actually. Probably I'm going to put there again, or I can share it to you through the group of a Telegram group. You guys already in the Telegram group, right?
Yes, sir.
Already, sir.
Sir.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Already.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to explain about the public finance here. Okay. So basically, this public finance will tell you about the state budget. Okay. In Indonesia, we call it as the APBN, or Indonesian language says anggaran uh, pendapatan dan belanja negara, or simply the state budget. So what's in the state budget here, and what the government got to do to the citizen? Okay, it's associated with the tax, the spending and everything. Okay, let's go back to here. So this course will examine issues central to the majority of the most pressing issue in the public affair. So it's all about the public affair. So if you ever heard about the Ministry of Finance say about the economy, and let's say what they spend a lot of money for the subsidies. Recently, the government gave like 600,000 rupiah, okay, to the citizen who have an income below 5 million rupiah. That's in order to boost the economy. And then this is the market outcomes. So usually the government has to interfere the market. You guys already take the principle of economics, right? But the micro and the macro, so where you learn about the supply and demand in the market. So
Yes, sir.
okay,
Yes.
so that's when the government have to interfere, the equilibrium in the market. You know, if the market is not equal, usually the price will be increased. When the price increase, it will in fact affect the inflation. Okay, and then this is the government expenditure program. The government expenditure program, like I said, this is the state budget. Okay, or Indonesian language will be APBN. I will share you some of the uh, Indonesian state budget in English, but the date is only 2015. But if you want to get the Indonesian language, I have a bunch actually. But in this class, I will share for the English version. And that's include taxation, tax and non-tax. Okay, if you have an income, or let's say if you go to the grocery store, they will charge you for the, they call it as the value added tax. Okay, that goes to the government. And then we will examine the major strengths and the weakness of the market, explore where the government influence is necessary. Oh, by the way, this is syllabus from the campus, and then I might adjust a little bit about this, okay? Because the book, also I will send the book through the, it's probably because I have a hard time to learn the EAT campus. So it's probably at the beginning I will share to the EAT campus, and also I will share it to your Telegram, because Telegram is easy for me to send large file. Okay. And then this is the objective. So basically this is about the state budget. Everything in the state budget, what the government do, like the transfer of payment. Remember, transfer of payment is like a subsidize. And then the objective, this is the objective. So basically I want you to understand the state budget, which is in the public finance. And then you can actually analyze the state budget or the public expenditure. Okay. And then this is what the economists think about the government revenue collection. So you can explore through this. This is the student requirement. Okay. Well, attendance. I probably want to adjust this. But this one is a little bit okay. So basically this is for the midterm exam should be 30%, but then I think like it's probably in here, they take 5% for the attendance. And then your final will be 30%. Then you will have an assignment, and you have probably assignment will be divided with assignment and then with the quiz. And by the way, I want you to make a group, okay? 6 group. I will share this later. 6 group. You divide you into 6 group, and then that group will be divided for. I want you to do some presentation, okay? In a group, within a group, if you have to analyze the state budget, and then it will include like the tax, social security, healthcare, education, and state budget, and probably the other one is, hold on, tax and non-tax. The other one will be subsidized. Okay, so you need to make a group, 6 group, and each group will analyze a different kind of issue in this public finance. So I will share it to you later in the group. Okay. So I'm trying to make you not too sleepy when you're just listening to me. So I want to do like the more interaction in here. So you will be it might be you will have presentation through this online classes. Okay, this is standard 85A. Below 85 is B. I think you remember this. And have one more public finance book here that I want to share to you because I'm not really familiar with the book, but the one that I will share it to you will be the same. Okay, so basically in today's I will explain to you about this introduction, what is the public finance and stuff like that, and understand public policy, the size of the government, yeah, something like that. Okay. Hold on, how to. Okay, this is on the second week. Okay, this is public and basic expenditure. And then on the third week, okay, this is subsidized. Okay, expenditure program for the poor. I may change a little bit about this, so I will let you know later. So basically, it will be almost the same like this. Oh, by the way, since we use the book from United States, so probably you will learn a little bit about what happened in there. But then I will compare, make an adjustment with what happened in Indonesia. So probably for the international student from China or student from another country, you can actually compare with your country. Okay, so in what happened in Indonesia, what happened, and the one that you learn from the book, that's actually what happened in the United States. Which is if I only explained it, I think that's not too relevant for the study in Indonesia. Okay, this is taxation, income distribution. Remember that tax is like a income distribution. So the government will take from the wealthy and then they distribute to the needy in the term of subsidies. Okay. Efficiency. Okay. After we come to this, probably on the 7th week, we will have a midterm here. So if it's possible, I'm going to make the midterm or quiz through the eCampus. Okay, so I will learn the eCampus probably next week. And then if it's not, that's probably we can use it just online. Okay. And then after the 7th week, after the midterm, I will change a little bit about this because this is not to be relevant to the what happened in here. Okay, could be an adjustment because this is a lot of net present value you learn from the finance, just in the microfinance. Okay, and then on the 14th, probably 14 week, by the way, for the final test, I'll probably apply for the project group, and then it should be a presentation. It might be. Okay, that's what my plan is actually. Okay, any question for this syllabus?
Sir,
Yeah.
maybe for me. Let me introduce myself. My name is Ferdian Bada.
Okay.
I wanted to ask about what's the important information which can company get from public finance analysis?
Okay. Well, actually, there's a lot of information from the company. I mean, the benefit from the company to understand about the public finance. The first one is about the public finance. Actually, has a lot of to do with the. If you still remember about the fiscal policy, okay. So fiscal policy is about the tax, okay. If your company, okay, you are actually have to pay tax to the government, right? So if you want to invest in the project, or if you want to do some business, so you might have to understand what the tax that you have to pay to the government, and also you have to understand what business it has to incentive in tax. When you have an incentive in tax, which means then you don't have to pay a higher taxes. And then it's actually, you can learn from the public finance here, what is the government is going to invest. Let's say if the government if your company is in infrastructure, before this pandemic, the government invests a lot in the infrastructure. So if you can build road and everything, stuff like that, then you can actually learn it from the government, from this public finance. So I think that's about because remember that the company is actually in the microeconomic, so they learn about the demand and supply within the company itself. But then remember that the microeconomic is depend on the macroeconomics, but the macroeconomics is actually usually that's from the public finance, the government. The government can interfere into the markets. Like this one, if you remember that the government give a lot of subsidies to the company. So if you don't get all of the information from the government, then I think it will be not benefit to your company. Okay.
Sir, it's
Yeah.
not just about the fiscal policy, or maybe just another information. It
Okay.
company must get down, like monetary or in global economy, maybe.
Yeah. When you talk about the fiscal policy, this is from the side of the government. Remember that in let's say in Indonesia, we have the Ministry of Finance and we have the central bank, like the Bank of Indonesia. So the central bank will do the monetary, like you said, that's from the side of the monetary. So that's from the interest rate, and then about the currency. If our currency is weak, then they will interfere into the market. That from the side of the central bank. But from the side of the government, which is from the Ministry of Finance, they will do the tax. That's what they call fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is actually tax. Whether the government want to increase tax, decrease tax, or they will eliminate the tax. Yeah, that's actually about the fiscal and monetary. Fiscal and monetary has to be balanced, like supply and demand. They should be in an equilibrium. Because if only tax without, let's say, if the government want to increase the growth, okay, growth, the GDP, and then they're trying to decrease the tax because they want the citizen or the society to spend on the consumption. And then the bank has to get a lower interest rate. So that will be from the central bank. So the central bank has to decrease, okay, the interest rate, so the citizen can borrow money. Like if you want to buy a car, then you can go to the bank for the consumption. credit consumption. So something like that. So that's the balance. So the fiscal policy has to be supported with the monetary policy. Any other question? I think,
Okay, sir. I'm understand it. Thank you.
yeah. So probably that's too deep. Your question is actually too deep, but then probably along the way I will explain this later. Uh, since this is in the online class, I'm trying to make it easier for you to understand. Okay. Oh, by the way, who's the leader in this class? Is it Rio
Stephen, sir.
or Stephen? Okay. Hold on, Stephen. Yeah. Stephen.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Could you accept Tiara Widi? She's
Oh, hold
just
on.
joined the class.
Wait. How to accept? Hold on. I cannot see him. See her.
Wait.
Yeah. Okay. So, okay, Tiara. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Any other question about the syllabus?
Sir, the score, I think it's new, isn't it? Like A minus, B, or just zero.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the new grading system, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is the, yeah, that's why I have to, just sorry, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, just gather information about you will have A minus, B plus, B minus, right?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for reminding me. Yeah, you're right. Any other question? Remember, you have to make Stephen. Hello, Stephen,
Yes, sir.
leader.
Yes, sir.
Please make 6 group, yeah, for this class.
Okay.
Okay. You guys decided who's with who. Okay. So
Okay,
that's,
sir.
yeah, for the presentation and for the assignment. And then after you create the six group, after you create 6 group, please let me know. Okay.
Okay, sir. When is the deadline? Sorry.
Well, it's up to you. Don't make it too long. Just probably 1 week. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, sir. By the way, there is someone. He cannot join the class because his house is mati lampu, lights off, sir.
Oh, okay.
His name is Farid. Maybe later he will chat you. He will private chat you.
Yeah, please do.
Yes.
Yeah, please do so. Yeah. This is actually I record this. Okay, I record this. Probably the recording. I will send it to you if it's possible. But I'm still running about this. Okay, I'm not actually familiar with this Google Drive. I used to use the Zoom, and then if it's possible, I can share it through the Telegram, so you can go back and forth if you remember about this class. Okay, any other question? Okay, no question. Okay, wait. Oh, wait, yeah, my mom calls. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah. No. Yeah. Who's that? No. No. Kan di ini ada juga balas suka. Oh, ini lagi ada. Okay, I have to share some of this. Hold on. Okay, can you see the slide? Hello.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I got it.
Okay, this is actually the new one. Okay, I edited some of this slide. Okay, this is public finance and public policy. This is the book. Let me share if it's possible, if I can share it to you. Hold on. I have a book. Hold on. Telegram. This is public finance in marketing, right? What is the name of the group in the Telegram? Stephen, Rio?
Yes, it's Public Finance IB1 2018.
No, in the name in the public in the name of the group in the Telegram.
Yes, the name of the group, right? It's Public
Yeah.
Finance IB1 2018.
I don't have it actually. Can you
Oh,
put
yeah.
my name there?
Yes, you talked to me yesterday, sir.
But I don't have it. Probably delete it or something like that. Please check the group.
Wait. Okay, I will check it now, sir.
Yeah, please. Yesterday I do have it, but now it's gone. Okay, I'm going to continue this. Okay, we'll do it this one. Okay, public finance. This is what they call the public finance. Public finance is the study of finance related to the government entities. Okay, so that's related to the government entity. It revolves around the role of the government income and expenditure in economy. So this is actually the state budget or the APBN. Income, expenditure. The income that's include in a tax and non-tax, and then spending or expenditure that's include spending for the central government and the spending for the province government. So they only divide it, but there's a lot of things from there. I will explain some section probably in between chapter 1 and 5 about the APBN, Indonesian APBN. I think I'm going to share it to you to the group. Please later invite me again to the Telegram group. No, I don't have an IB in here.
Okay, I will invite you again, sir. Hold on.
Yeah, please put me in the group again. It's actually gone. Okay, hold on. Good. Thank you. I'll send the book. Okay. Yes, it's already. And also later I will send you the new slide. Hold on. Okay. Public income. Okay. Public income will include, like I said, tax and non-tax. Okay, it's only two, but we have a lot of tax in Indonesia, like value-added tax, income tax, property tax, and every tax. That's a bonus of tax here. So basically, that's our money that we pay to the government, and then the government will spend it in the public expenditure. Okay, and here, this is the public expenditure. So the public expenditure is money spent by the government entity on the health, education, infrastructure, subsidize everything. Okay, and then this money is actually coming from this public income. It's coming from you, okay, who pay taxes. Okay, and then this is public debt. Public debt will be arise when public expenditure exceed public income. This is called deficit. Okay, if your income is less than your expenditure, then you need to finance. Okay, in the public finance, we say we need to finance. But if the example is coming to, let's say, to you or to me, if my income is less than my expenditure, I might go to my friend or I might go to the bank and I tell them, let me borrow your money, okay? Because I don't have any money. So that seems like the government. So that's why we have what we call public debt. All of the government has the public debt. They call it as the government bond. In Indonesia, we call it as the SUN, or the Surat Utang Negara. So simply in English, we call it as the government bond. Okay, United States, China, every country, even Japanese, even the advanced country, they have debt as well. And then This is the financial administration. That includes preparation, passing, implementation of the government budget, various government policy. So before they create the state budget, they have to do that financial administration. They have to preparation, they have to passing, usually passing using the law. Okay, in every country, state budgets must include in the law. Indonesian, we actually uh, in the process of discussion at this moment, discussion between the government and the House of the Republic, okay, or the DPR in Indonesia. And then after discussion, we have an agreement, and then we have to create what they call the law, and then they passing the law. After the law is passing, then you have to be implemented by the government. Okay, budget and various government policy. So it's depend on the policy. And then allocation function, it study how to allocate the public expenditure most efficiently to reap maximum benefit with the available public wealth. Okay, so this is the spending with the allocation. In Indonesia, the allocation for the education is 20% from the total of the state budget. Let's say if the state budget is 1 million US dollar, then this allocation for education will take up 20% from 1 million US dollar. So it should be like how much? $200 million, right? That's only for the education, and then for the health, for the infrastructure, for the payroll and everything will be divided into the allocation function. And then function of distribution function. In the distribution function, it aims at reducing the inequality through the distribution of income and wealth. Okay, like I said, if you take money from the wealthy people, okay, because they have an income a lot, okay, you take a lot of tax from them, and then you distribute to the needy when it's subsidized. Okay, so that's what they call distribution function. So tax has a distribution function. They can distribute from the wealthy to the needy. And then the last one is called stabilization function. It aims to eliminate business fluctuation and impact on the economy. This is, like I said at the beginning, when your question about the fiscal and monetary policy. So this is the purpose of fiscal and monetary policy from the government, is to stabilize function. If the economy is not stabilized, let's say if the economy is stabilized between supply, aggregate demand, and aggregate supply, then you can find the equilibrium price in the market and equilibrium quantity, and then the government will do nothing. But if the government say, like, let's say like today, because of the pandemic, there is economy is weakened, okay? Nobody's spending. So it will not affect the economy like there is no effect to the economy. So the government will go to the market, and they will flood the market with the money. Remember that the government will give subsidize, will give money, will give stuff lately after the pandemic. And you probably know about the 600,000 rupiah that the government will give to the one who have income only 5 million, less than 5 million. So that's an example of the stabilization function. And also the central bank will decrease the interest rate. I forgot, probably the interest rate is a little bit lower at this moment. So that's the function of stabilization function. Any question from this? Okay. No question. Okay. This is the question when you learn about the public finance. Okay. Why study finance? Okay, you have the 4 question of the study finance. That's on the next slide. And then why study public finance, facts on the government in the United States and in Indonesia. Okay. I will tell you about Indonesia. Or around the world, it might be a little bit same. Okay, this is about the policy debate about the social security. Social security in here is like the BPJS. This is the BPJS Ketenagakerjaan, and this one the BPJS Kesehatan, which is the healthcare. Okay, and this is education. The 20% from the state budget in Indonesia. I don't know in other countries. Probably they also have the allocation for that. And then this one, but the conclusion. Okay, this is from the chapter 1. Okay, this is the 4th question about the study finance. Okay, hold on. Okay, public finance is a study of the role of the government in the economy. What is the role of the government? 4 questions for the public finance. The first one, why should the government intervene in the market economy, in the economy? Like I said, if the economy is stable, if there's nothing happen to the economy, so the government has nothing to do with that. So just leave it with the market. If it's only if the market is not balanced, like today, or like if you happen to read about what happened in Indonesia in 1998, we have the monetary crisis, then the government will flood the market with the money. There is still a problem with now. We call it as the BLBE, the BLBE problem. What is that's in English? So basically, that's the money from the central government to the bank that has a problem with the bank. The government, the central bank, I think they give at that moment somewhere about 100 trillion rupiah. Probably that until now. The debt is almost like 600 trillion rupiah and still there. So that's the problem. Okay, that's when should the government intervene. So basically, if there is a problem, then the government should interfere the market. And the question number 2, how might the government interfere? Is it going to do with the fiscal policy or with the monetary policy or with both of them? Should the government give money to the citizen who need it, or should the government will only give like stuff like food, something like that? Remember that at the beginning of the pandemic, the government only give food, okay, to the needy, and then lately the government want to boost the economy and they're trying to give the money, so they expect the people within the economy will spend in terms of consumption. Remember that the calculation of the GDP, GDP will be consist of consumption, investment, government expenditure, and the net export between export and import. So from the side of the consumption, so the government is willing to boost the economy by giving the money to the needy and expect them to consume. Okay, so that's the way the government intervenes. And then what is the effect of those interventions on the economic outcome? So basically the government is intend or willing to to have a sudden effect to what they giving to the economy. Let's say they want to the growth to be increased. Remember last Indonesian growth within the last I think last semester last quarter is minus 5 point something. So usually the growth should be 5, but because of this pandemic, there's no spending. It will decrease actually to become minus 5. And there's a lot of government like the advanced country. I think the last is the last country that have a recession is probably Germany. I think there's a lot of at this moment there's a lot of country that the problem with the recession, and that's I think it includes Indonesia. So the recession itself. Recession, remember that recession is not good for us. It's not good for the economy. And then the last one is why do government choose to intervene in that way, what they do. So intervention in the market from the government can do a lot of things to intervene in the market. They can give stuff, they can give food, they can give money, or they can give good policy. Let's say they will decrease the tax in order to boost the economy or anything. So we have to analyze why the government choose to intervene. So I want you, based on these 4 questions in the public finance, probably in our discussion or in an assignment for your presentation, then I want you see it from the side of these 4 questions for the public finance. Okay, so basically, probably you learn in President University from the micro side. You learn from the company. You learn from the banking system and everything, stuff like that. And then now you learn from the you will learn from the government, what the role of the government within the economy. Okay, any question for this slide? You guys still with me?
Yes,
No
sir.
question, sir.
No question.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
No question,
Yes,
sir.
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 Yes. Okay. Okay, let's move to another slide. Don't fall asleep, okay?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir.
Okay, what should the government do? Okay, the first question: when should the government intervene in the economy? Okay, economics generally presume that market deliver efficient outcome. So why should the government do anything? And then primary motive for the government intervention is therefore the market failure. So the first one, the government intervenes when there is a problem with the market. My explanation lately is about the market failure. So market failure is problem that cause the market economy to deliver an outcome that is not maximize efficiency. If you see today's economic in Indonesia, there's a lot of company that go on bankrupt, probably at the beginning of the pandemic. But this one is they really catch up actually. When the mall is closed, they cannot the business cannot sell their product, they cannot sell their services. Restaurant is there's a lot of restaurants go on bankrupt, and that problem will create what the so-called unemployment. laid off. Unemployment is something in inefficiency, okay? And unemployment is inefficiency in the economy because the economy cannot utilize their resources. So unemployment is resources, right, to create the economy to become bigger and bigger. So if there is a problem with the market failure like today's, then the government is actually have to interfere in the market. So basically, this semester, when you learn public finance, I think this is the right time for you to learn this because you can see what happened in the economy as today. This is actually an example when the government is trying to if you I want you also to find about the government intervention now. They call it the as a PEN. What is the PEN stand for? Indonesian language. Hold on, yeah. PEN is then I don't know. Does anybody know about the PEN?
Pemulihan ekonomi nasional, sir.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, sir.
Yeah. That's PEN, Pemulihan Ekonomi Nasional. What's that in English? Economic, national economic. Okay, I forgot in English. So that's in English. PEN is actually a fiscal policy and monetary policy from the government. So I want you to learn what is the PEN itself, so you can actually connect it to what I explained in here. So that's an example of the market failure. When the market failure and the government has to interfere the market, and what has happened today, the program is called PEN, Pemulihan Ekonomi Nasional. So that's an example. I think that's a good example for you to understand this public finance, because this is the right time. Okay, any question? Okay. Oh, by the way, I'm going to explain this without anything asking like this. But if you have any question, please ask. Okay. Okay. This is an example in United States, I think. Yeah, this is an example in United States. An example in Indonesia or in another country now is the pandemic itself. Okay, they're trying to find the vaccine. Okay. Because this is the application from the United States. This is federal government. Okay, in the United States, they divided between the federal government and the state government. So the federal government is like in Indonesia, like the central government. But remember that United States, they divided into the federal government. And this is coming from the state budget. In Indonesia, we have central government and we have province, okay, the government in province. In the central government, we use the state budget or we use the APBN, but in the province, they use what they call APBD. They have their own state budget, okay? Let's say the state budget of Indonesia as a nation is different as the state budget is in the province of DKI. They have what they call the APBD. Okay, this is only an example. The application will be the same like the COVID-19 here. The state government and the province government is also doing giving some stuff to the society. Okay, the purpose of the government intervention is in here. Okay, they will reduce the negative externality, the factor from the external. Okay, this is the second one. Redistribution. When should the government intervene in the economy? Even if the market is well functioned, okay, if there's nothing happen, there is nothing happen like today, okay, an efficient outcome is not necessarily socially desirable. Redistribution is a second reason for the government intervention. So they're shifting resources for some group in the society to the other. They're shifting from the wealthy to the needy. Okay, tax has the function of redistribution. They're shifting resources from some resources in there, could be money, could be anything. So actually from the wealthy people to the needy people. So this when the government, in the macro, we call it as the transfer of payment. Okay, this is distribution is also called as transfer of payment. Okay, this is when should the government intervene in the market. Okay, this is how might the government interfere into the market. Tax or subsidized private sale or purchase. Okay, this is use the price mechanism, changing the price of the good to encourage or discourage use. Subsidize. Let's try with the subsidize. You know gasoline, right? Gasoline in Indonesia. Hello?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The premium, okay, gasoline premium. We have premium Pertalite, we have Pertamax, we have Pertamax Turbo. The premium is subsidized. The actual price is actually not that low. So the government will pay a certain amount of money in the premium gasoline itself. The purpose of the subsidized in the premium gas, that's because the government is willing the not wealthy people, okay, the average people is still buying a lower price of gasoline. For example, you know transportation like angkot, you know angkot, right? If they imagine that if they use the gasoline using the Pertamax, okay, if they use gasoline using Pertamax, and the price of the transportation must be increased, right? Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. When the price of transportation is increased, then the one that will be affected will be goods and services. Imagine that the price of, let's say, vegetable. When the farmer grow the vegetable, let's say in the West Java, and then they send it to Jakarta or they send it to Cikarang, it will use the transportation, right? And then if the price of transportation is increased, and then they must be increased the price of this vegetable. If the price of vegetable is increased, then we as the customer will pay more money. So that's why the government don't want to create an increasing price, or in another word, on inflation. So they do the subsidize from the private sale or from the purchase. So they want to use this price mechanism, changing the price of the good to encourage people to buy. If the price mechanism they use to increase the price of the good, then what happened? It will discourage you to buy. Okay, remember, in economy we have some limitation from the resources, or we call it as the scarcity. Okay, your resources is scarce, your money is limited. Unless if your resources unlimited, then you can buy everything that you want, that's no problem. But the problem is the scarcity itself. Okay, that's from the side of the subsidized and the tax. If they want to discourage, okay, they can use tax. They will tax you higher. There is no subsidize, so you need to buy only Pertamax, at least Pertalite. Okay, Pertalite above Indonesia, they use the market mechanism. When the oil gas increase, they actually increase. When the oil price decrease, the prices decrease. Okay, this is a representation. Taxes raise the price for private sales or purchase of goods that are overproduced. Okay, and then subsidize lower the price for the private sale of goods that are underproduced. So that's explanation of tax and subsidize. Okay. And the next slide will be okay. How much government intervene? Interfere. Same, maybe. Restrict or mandate private sale or purchase. What does restriction private sale of goods that are overproduced and mandate require private purchase of goods that are underproduced? So the underproduced will be like the premium itself, and the quota will be, let's say, Pertamax. Okay, will be the same. Pertamax will price you higher, but the premium, because that's in the mandate requirement. Usually, it's enacted with the law. Okay, so law needs to be underline the subsidize itself. It should be in the law. And then public provision, the government can provide the good directly. Okay, there's a lot of program in Indonesia. The one that we have is PKH. They call it PKH, Program Keluarga Harapan. There's a lot of subsidies. I'll give you probably some of the example of the private, the subsidized. The one that I remember now is the PKH, and then there's a lot of like in Jakarta, they call it. There's a lot of card, like for the student, so you can buy using that card, like a credit card. It's not a credit card; it's a debit card from the government. The government will give you some money through that card, and then you can buy a book. You can buy everything. So it's like public provision. And then the public financing of private provision. Government pay, private company will produce, something like that. Okay, they finance by the government, and then the company will produce. At this moment, I cannot give this an example for you, probably later. Okay, this is step by step, not step by step. It's actually just slightly small example how might the government interfere. Okay, basically this is using the fiscal and monetary. Using the monetary, if you ever heard about the KUR, Kredit Usaha Rakyat. Okay, in Indonesia we have the KUR, Kredit Usaha Rakyat. If you are small medium enterprise, and then you can apply for the KUR. The benefit of KUR, you will get lower interest rate than the market interest rate, and then you can actually get the, let's say you can only apply for a collateral, okay, let's say only 80%, and another 20% will be covered by the government. So it's a lot easier. So the purpose of the government to create that kind of program is they're willing to, to boost the economy. Let's say if you small, medium enterprise, and then you want to expand your business, right? But then you are actually it's not bankable, okay? Because you small companies, small company in Indonesia, there's a lot of bankable. They're not actually bankable. So if you go with the normal program, the bank will say, no, I will not lend you some money. But if you go with the KUR, or Kredit Usaha Rakyat, which is get the subsidized from the government, they subsidize through the interest rate. Let's say if the normal interest rate, if you go to the bank, is 10%. But if you apply to the KUR, the Kredit Usaha Rakyat, you only pay probably like 7%, and another 3% will be paid by the government. That's the subsidies. So there's also an example of government intervention. Okay, next. So this is the effect of the effect of intervention. Okay. This is the effect of intervention. Hold on. Okay, intervention have direct and indirect effect. So this, the first one is direct effect. The direct effect is actually effect that is affected directly, right? So the effect that will be predicted if individual did not change their behavior in response to that intervention. Okay, so the government will see the picture of what could be happen if they do an intervention in the market. They can actually, usually government will say, they can predict it, okay, what the economy should be like that. This is an example of insurance. This is, I think this is in America. They're fully insured in here. About the insurance, okay. And the second one is indirect effect, the effect that arises only because individuals change their behavior in response to the intervention. Okay, hold on, I'm actually. That's directly intervention. Okay. Okay, an example of direct intervention in here, we have BPJS, right, in Indonesia. And BPJS has divided into some group. The lower group is the one you don't have to pay, okay, it's free. The second group, let's say you pay only probably 60 or 70. They divide into class 1, class 2, class 3, and free classes. Okay, if you're in the class 1, you pay higher prices. Okay, and it's actually subsidized from the government. So if they increase the costs, okay, like what happened probably last year, usually it will affect it to the people who use this BPJS itself. Okay, this is the effect and alternative intervention. Okay, this is why do government do what they do. Okay, this is called political economy. So the government do not always choose efficient or socially desirable outcome. Okay, this is the theory of how the political process proceeds decision that affect individual and economy. The political economy is actually happen when the state budget itself is trying to be passed to the House of Representative. Indonesia usually the government has to bring the proposal to the DPR, the DPR, the House Rep, and there's a lot of discussion between the government and the DPR regarding the proposal itself. If the DPR, oops, did I put? Okay, if the DPR is agree with the proposal of the government, then it will pass the proposal to become the law, and then once they become the law, then it will also affected to you, okay, because you have to implement it what the discussion between the government and the DPR itself in Indonesia, or the House of Representative. So that's the political economy, the theory of how the political process proceeds decision that affect individual and the economy. If you read in the textbook, there's a site, an application it says on the page 10. In the United States, they have what they call the CBO. CBO is stand for the government. What is the CBO? I forgot stand. So basically, this CBO itself, they analyze the proposal of the government before they pass it into in here. In Indonesia, we don't actually have the CBO. The CBO stand for the Congress Budget Office. Okay, Congress Budget Office. In Indonesia, we don't have a Congress Budget Office, but we have what we call, probably some of you have heard about the Banggar or Badan Anggaran. In the Badan Anggaran, they have analyzed that, the proposal of the government. So it's just almost the same, but in the CBO, there is no political in there. Excuse me. But in Indonesia, we don't actually have the standalone analytical process itself. Excuse me. Okay, this is political economy. Okay, this is from the spending side. Okay. Even if we calculate the GDP, we include the government expenditure, right? The G1, the government expenditure. So because the government spending or government expenditure is represent a large sector of the economy. That's happened in the United States, that's happened in Indonesia, that's happened in China, that's happened in Asia, and that's happening around the world. The government spending. So usually government spending a lot. In Indonesia, the government at this moment, government spending is beyond, I think that's beyond 2,000 trillion rupiah. Yeah, 2,000 trillion rupiah. It's above 3,000 trillion. It's a huge money. 1 trillion is a lot of money. But then the government can spend 2,000 trillion above. That's huge. So the spending. Wait, yeah. Oh boy. So the spending of the government spending is financed with taxes, taxes, non-taxes, and also if the money is not enough, then they can go with debt. Okay, which is sun or surat utang negara or the government bonds. So that's debt. If taxes, non-taxes, and everything is not enough, and you can go with debt. And then many sectors of the economy also directly affected by the regulation. So that's why if you run a business, you have to understand the public finance. Yes, hold on. Okay. Okay, application. This is the one that I told you about. Okay. Let me take some. Let me take like a couple minutes breaks. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, I'm back. You still there?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, this slide about the CBO. Hold on, what is this slide? Okay, CBO. This is only FYI for your info, only for your information. CBO is actually it's actually I'm not pretty sure whether this is an institution or not, but they actually within the Congress in United States or in Indonesia we have the Congress. We call it as the DPR, Dewan Perwakilan Rakyat. Okay. But this one is actually only talking about the budget proposal from the government. So they have here the explanation. They actually at the gatekeeper. They analyze the proposal of the government. Let's say the president Trump wants to buy a large, missile or a large of tank. If CBS say that's not necessary, then they will not approve that, or they want to about the health of Medicare. Okay, this is the method and result derived from the empirical economic that the central to the development of public policy at the level of the government. So this is actually for the public policy. Okay. The CBO, Congress Budget Office, which is we don't have in Indonesia. In Indonesia, we only have the Badan Anggaran or Banggar. In CBO, they score policy process or proposal by eliminating their budget implication. Okay, they actually will say this is not necessary, this is necessary, this is not necessary. They use the scoring system like this. Okay, they use this tool. In Indonesia, we don't really have this, but we have other system. Okay, we do have a Badan Anggaran. Okay, this is only the trend about the spending in US. I think this is in the US. I'll show you later in Indonesia. It's another. It's actually in another file. there will be some week I will explain you what is the state budget in Indonesia itself, okay, using the other file. Okay, this is total government spending in United States. Here, this is in Greece. This is in OECD country. You know OECD country, right? And this is the Sweden. So this is probably basically OECD in the Europe. This is Sweden. You can see in here, United States, they don't really spend too much. If you compare with the Sweden, they spend too much in here. Okay, within the range 1960 to 2000. This is probably they imply a higher taxes. The economy is stronger, so they can collect higher taxes from the business. They have a lot of money. They can spend a lot of spending like this. Okay, and then okay, decentralization. Decentralization happened in Indonesia after 1998. Before that, we call it centralization. What is decentralization and what is the centralization itself? The key feature of the government is the degree of centralization across local and national government. Across central government and the province government. So local government, let's say DKI Jaya, DKI Jakarta, and national government is Indonesia itself as a nation. So centralization is the extent to which spending is concentrated, okay, at the higher. United States, they call it federal. In Indonesia, we call it central government, okay, or pemerintah pusat. They spend more in the higher level, on the central level, and lower to the province level. In United States, they call it, this is state and local. In Indonesia, we call it just local. Okay, DKI Jakarta versus central government. In centralization, they spend more on the central, so that's why they call it centralization. So the much of the policy they centralize to the government of the nation government. This is the comparison. Total spending in United States, there is about 1/4. In Indonesia, is about 60 to 40%. Central government in Indonesia spending is about 40%, and the local will be like 60%, which means that money from the central government that they distribute or giving to the local government, like to the Papua, and then give to the West Java, to Sumatra, and to any part in Indonesia. So if you see from here, it's almost the same, like the system is almost the same like the United States, only the level of spending that's probably different here. So Indonesia is almost like 50-50, but they different in US. Probably they concentrate to buy like military, like bomb, tanks, and stuff like that, which is include a lot of money, and also in the public health. Okay, this is expenditure. You can skip this. So, basically, when we compare revenue and spending, usually we use presentation of the output. Okay, GDP is the output within 1 year. And sometimes when we're talking about the deficit, we also compare the deficit using the output or the GDP itself. At this moment, Indonesia is planning to have a deficit of 5% from the total GDP, okay, which is usually is only less than 3%, but because there's a lot of intervention and the economy is not good, they cannot collect a lot of tax, so they increase the deficit to become 5% in Indonesia from the GDP. Let's say the GDP is 12,000 trillion. So 5% from 12,000 trillion is almost 600 trillion, which is a lot of money. Okay. This is an example. This is deficit. Like I said, so see, surplus or deficit will be percentage of the GDP. They don't percentage by the total state budget, but they from the total. Remember that GDP is an output. So this comparison is willing to see how much the deficit compared to the total output. See, this is, I think this is United States. They even have deficit until 2010. It's only in 2000 they have a surplus. This is not very often, and this is very not happen most of the time. Okay, this is debt, federal debt. This is United States. I'll show you later in Indonesia. It's probably next week. This is OECD country. Okay, OECD will be include Sweden, New Zealand, Australia. I think Indonesia is not included. Okay. Most of them is in the Europe. Okay, this is only an example. Okay, distribution of spending. Public goods. Okay, an example will be defense spending and also infrastructure spending, and then what else? So basically, that's the purpose for this spending is only for the public, okay, for the sake of the public. Good for which the investment of any one individual benefit everyone in the large group. When the government of Indonesia is trying to spend a lot of money in infrastructure last year, I think because the economy is not good, they stopped a little bit now. So the purpose is actually for the sake of the public. Let's say that if you are a farmer, okay, you grow vegetable, and then you want to distribute to all over place, let's say in Indonesia, then you need a good infrastructure, right? When the infrastructure is bad, so usually it will increase the price of transportation. I think about 10 years ago, and I think that's still happening in Indonesia, in Papua, if you want to transfer goods and stuff like that, or vegetable, food and drink, you need to transport using an aeroplane or aeroplane. Imagine that the price of transportation of the aeroplane. But now, when the infrastructure is good, getting better, they can increase the price over there because they can distribute using land, they can distribute using car, truck, and stuff like that, which is cost them less than the price of the aeroplane. So that's an example of the public goods. Investment for anyone individual, for benefit to them, for benefit to us, for benefit to you. That's called public goods. This is social insurance program. Indonesia, we have BPJS, Badan Pengelola Jaminan Sosial, government provision of insurance, again at first, even to the other sphere in the private insurance market. If you go to Allianz, they will charge you higher price. Okay. Allianz, the insurance company, or you go to the Prudential. But if you go to the BPJS, they will charge you lower price because there is some of the subsidized from the government for the health insurance. Okay, and but public goods social insurance program. This is only an example in the United States because we use United States book. Have data in Indonesia. I'll show you later. And by the way, for your discussion later, for assignments probably for the quiz and stuff like that, I will give you the data from Indonesian state budget, something like this, but data from Indonesia. And I want you to analyze, I want you to discuss what is best, what is not best, in order to you to understand of all of this public finance. Okay, let's see this. They compare in here between 1960 and 2012. If you see this, in 1960, they spent a lot of the defense. I think they, at the time, they are during at war. It's probably in the Second World War or something like that. America liked war. But in 2012, they decreased to become 19%. So some of this will be distributed to other sector. Okay. You see here, the health will be increased dramatically from 1960 to 2012. Okay, and you see it's only 2.9, and here is 25.2. And also for education. During war, you don't need really a lot of educations probably, but now during the peacetime, you need to learn more from school. Okay, this is from the province, the state. This is revenue. Okay, this is an example of revenue in others country, which is not really different. I think that's the same in Indonesia. We have income taxes. If you have an income from work, income from, let's say if you deposit money in the bank, and then any other income. Okay, this is corporate tax, taxes from the company. Okay, this is income tax. Taxes usually coming from individual. Social insurance contribution like BPJS. If you list it in BPJS, you have to pay monthly. Okay. Excise tax. What is excise tax? Excise tax is like if you import or you export something to Indonesia, then you have to be charged with the excise tax. Usually this is for the import. Export only for goods like the CPO. If you export CPO outside Indonesia, you will be charged with taxes. I think that's the only one that charge for the export. All of them will be include import taxes as the revenue. Okay, and then next, this is revenue from local. All on Indonesia, property tax also. Property tax in Indonesia, you have to pay to the local government. You know, we have PBB, Pajak Bumi dan Bangunan. That's property tax. You have to pay them to the, if you live in Jakarta, then you have to give it to the government of DKI Jakarta. Okay, sales tax. Yeah, we have. They call it PB 10%. If you go to, I forgot the PB stand for. Probably this is the government, local government taxes. If you eat in the restaurant, usually they will charge you 10%. This one, yeah, we have grant. Grant in Indonesia is not very that much, probably only not too much. And income tax and other tax. Usually in Jakarta we pay for distribution, and then we pay for the, if you have a car listed in Jakarta, then you have to pay tax for your car every year, right? Or PKB, that's pajak kendaraan bermotor. Then you will pay that taxes to the local government. If you listed in Jakarta, then you have to pay to the government of Jakarta, local government Jakarta. If you listed in the West Java, then you have to pay it to the local government of Java. I think that's applied too. Okay, this is about role of the government. The government regulates a wide range of economic and social activity. The food and drugs. Okay, in Indonesia we have BP POM. Okay, I forgot what is BP POM stand for. That's for obat and makanan, for the drugs and food and drugs. Same like this. This is in the United States, they call it FDA. In Indonesia, we have BP POM. And then Occupational Safety Health Administration. I think this one is Ministry of Work for the Labor, Ministry of Labor, something like that. And this one, Ministry of Transportation. Probably we have the one like this, but I forgot the name. Okay, this is about the pollution. This is from the Ministry of Environment in Indonesia. Okay, we do have the same system with the United States regarding all of this. You can actually find it. Okay, probably I can use this as the your assignment. I want you to find and explain all of this in Indonesian, or it's probably in China. You can explain from your government perspective. Okay, this is Social Security. This is education. In United States, there's a lot of debate between liberal and conservative. In Indonesia, the debate between 9 parties, okay, about this. Okay, I think we're almost there. It's almost 2 slides. Hold on. This thing that's on the... let's finish this. Social Security. Indonesia, we don't really have a Social Security, but we have BPJS. But the BPJS, ketenaga kerjaan, or for the working BPJS, that's only if you're not work, then you not benefit from the Social Security. Okay, so the Social Security is like a 9-digit number. If you go there, and then let's say you study there, or you work there, or you live there, then if you as citizen, then you might have the Social Security number. If not, then when I was there in 1998, I can get this Social Security number. But now my friend told me it's kind of hard to get the Social Security number. They will be limited to the either resident or a citizen. If you have like a green card, something like that, or permission to work, then you will get this social security with all of the benefit. So basically, in this, the benefit of the social security is almost the same like the benefit of the BPJS, ketenagakerjaan. So basically, if you retire, and you will get money from the retirement, right? And that money is actually financed by the young worker who work and they pay money to this program. Okay, so basically the young workers subsidize the retirement, the worker who's already retired to pay their retirement money. Okay, so as you can see here, as the population ages, which means that if the population will be consist of higher old ages compared to the younger, it could be problem with the social security program. It is increasingly difficult to fund because not many young people who pay for this program because the population is ages. So that could be a problem with this system. So in the United States, if you're from the side of liberal, they argue that they need to necessarily increase the payroll taxes. Okay, but this could be a problem because if the payroll taxes if your income taxes will be increased, then the one who work will be get less money. Okay, that money we call it as the in the economy they call it is I forgot the name. So that's money that's ready to consume and to save. Okay, but the conservative says that rather than transfer from young to old, we should encourage people to save. They say, okay, save some money there. It's only an example of happened in the United States, but in Indonesia, it's actually the 9 parties are due to the government to subsidize, to give more money to this social security program, which is we call it BPJS. The negative side, giving a lot of money, is actually the debt. The government debt will be increased because of that. When the government don't have money, they insist to pay a lot of money in this program, then they need to go to issue the government bond, which is debt. If they issue a lot of government bond, then it will increase the debt itself. Okay, that's the last one. As an example. This is about the healthcare in the United States. We do have a healthcare in Indonesia. If you want to know about the healthcare for Indonesia, you can find the law regarding the BPJS. That's actually what happened in Indonesia. In the United States, they also have the law that's called Affordable Care Act, which is increase the price of the insurance, health insurance there. Healthcare in the United States is very, very expensive. That's probably 10 times or 5 times from what happened in Indonesia. So that's why if you don't have a health insurance in the United States, it will be a problem for you. You will pay a lot of money. Okay, especially if you go to the dentist. Dentist is expensive in the United States and also in Indonesia. So that's the problem. Okay. Why this is 32 from 32? Let me check. Oops. Okay, this is conclusion. So the conclusion of this chapter is, the first one is government plays central role. This is an American. I think this is the central routine all over the world. Okay, government plays a central role in all over the world, not only in America. This is in Indonesia, in Singapore, in Asia, in China, in Vietnam, in Korea, in every country. And there is an ongoing disagreement about whether that role should be expanded, stay the same, or contract. Okay. The fact and argument raised in the chapter provide a backdrop for thinking about the set of public finance issues that we develop the remainder of this book. Okay. Any question? Any question? Hello.
No, sir.
No.
No, sir.
Good. Oh, have you typed in your name into the chat?
Yes.
Yes, already.
Already.
Ready, sir.
Yes.
Ready, sir.
Already, sir.
Okay, good.
Already, sir.
And also the one who just joined. Have you?
Already, sir.
Hold on, I'll take a picture of this. Okay. Hold on. So how many students in this class? Forty, yeah? Stephen. Stephen. Okay. If you don't have any question, then I think I'll see you next week, yeah?
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you,
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, you may
Have
leave.
a nice day.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
See you
Have a
next week.
safe day.
Have a nice day.
see you.